Hi guys, I am really excited to come to you today and share with you what I have been working on for the past 7.5, 8 years that has now turned into embodying magic. And the reason I use that phrase is for me, the necessity to come into my body, to be in my body and really notice the correlation between myself and my environment, being nature, and then myself and these cycles outside of myself and within myself was a necessity for me to become mentally healthy. And now I am in a place where I am opening a container where I can share a lot of these practices and rituals and movements and breath works that I have been doing consistently for 8 years now. And even before then, many years before that, I've been doing lots of things, but really the focus has kind of been growing. And the way that I started this was through tools and journals to help support people in a way that was most accessible. Getting a price point that was as low as possible, so that people can learn these practices and rituals and do these things to support themselves, because that is how I've learned in a lot of ways. And now I'm in a place where I want to open up more and be more connected, and allow to kind of teach some of these practices. So I've created a Patreon, and I am really excited about the different things that I'm going to be putting in there. And I'm going to have a couple of different options depending on how much support you might be wanting with some of these things. So I'll have a pretty simple option that will include ritual, that will include different things and ideas that you can kind of incorporate into your life. And then I'll have the next level, which will have maybe meditations or movements. It will have some mini teachings and shares and different things. And then I'm going to have a more advanced option that will have weekly practices, whether it's movements, meditation, journaling, learning through story, connecting to yourself through story. And the first one that I'm going to be offering, and the most extensive option, is a minstrel series, which also was my first tool that I created. And I will share those with you in a moment. But in this series, I want to do a weekly movement practice that is supportive for each phase of the cycle. And if you're not aware, women or people with female anatomy operate on a 28-day cycle as opposed to this 24-hour time slot. Those are two very different things. And it took me really learning what was going on in my body and what my body actually needed, so that I didn't get to this place of extreme burnout or just debilitated for weeks at a time from exhaustion, and not really honoring my body's needs or even knowing what they were, and what was supportive for me. So you have these 4 phases in the cycle that can kind of correlate with the seasons. And for me, that helps my brain to see it that way. And I really like to look at things in a magical story kind of way. It makes life a lot more fun and enjoyable for me. So, your menstrual phase would be your inner winter. It's a time to go inward. It's a time to rest and nourish and relax and take care of yourself. And then your hormones shift into the follicular phase, which is your inner spring. It's going to speed up. You're going to want to plan, start moving. Your focus is going to change. What you eat is going to change. And then you shift into your ovulatory phase, which would be your inner summer. And then that moves into luteal, which is the inner fall. And that's the last phase before it starts all over again. So I originally created this, which is Discovering the Magic of Your Inner Cycle. And I've just redone the cover. It's now titled Womb Magic. It's a smaller size, and I have gotten the price point down by about $5. And I've improved the inside. So it's about the same, but the pictures look better. But more easier to transport and work with. And then I have it split up into the 4 phases. And this just incorporates lots of practices and rituals for you to kind of play around with, to kind of see what your body needs, what feels supportive, what feels serving, where you feel like you come back to your body and you're most at home in yourself. So that's kind of where my tools began. And then I shifted into creating simple journaling practices and rituals, and these simple guided journals. For example, one is just a simple morning practice that can help you connect with yourself if you only have 10 minutes. Connect with your intentions. Where are you at? How are you feeling? What do you actually need today? And then this one's embodying joy. Sometimes things can we can get into these poles of extremes, and it's part of life. But bringing them back together and reminding you of the other when you kind of swing to one side or the other and coming into balance. So this is just a simple morning and evening practice to just really bring joy into your body in a moment where it might feel a little challenging or it might feel a little hard, and connecting to the very small things that can do that for you. And I have many other simple guided journals that kind of tap into different things, whether it's the moon or your cycle, if you just need simplicity. And then I have lots and lots of blank and line journals with fun art that I've done. But I then kind of worked on a seasonal journal, a simple one, for rituals with each turn of the wheel, each turn of the season, to notice what's going on in nature, in our environment, and then notice how that affects our bodies and what's going on within ourselves, and a time to reflect, and then to look back at it throughout the year and see how, maybe your intentions from spring are beginning to come around full circle come fall. And as I've been doing all of these things, I then created a planner for next year, which I'm super excited about because it's all of the practices and journaling rituals that I do every month, have been doing, and I have incorporated it into a planner. I really like tracking, and checklists and all of those kind of fun things. But this has space for a 4-page ritual for each turn of the wheel. It also has your monthly calendar. And then it's going to have a menstrual tracker to track habits. If you want to, you don't have to do it every month, but sometimes it's helpful to kind of look at, okay, this is different or this is the same. What do I need to adjust or shift to feel most like myself? And then there's a 2-page journaling spread for the beginning of your menstrual cycle, and then a 2-page spread for once you shift to luteal, which for a lot of people can be the most challenging. That's when your progesterone is the highest. It's when the feel-good hormones kind of drop to an all-time low. And this is when a lot of people can have their premenstrual symptoms if you're not caring for yourself, or if there's something going on externally outside of your control where you're not able to do so as well. And it just helps you recenter and connect. There's also new and full moon journaling practices, intention setting, and noticing. And then you have your weekly spreads. I like a vertical spread because I like to write down and it goes over. And then behind each page is just art that I've done. And I'm just really excited about this tool specifically, mostly for myself because I've incorporated all the things I use into one book. And then I have lots of other tools as well. Many things. I did a couple children's books based on my kids, basically to honor them and just to point out the different things that come up in kids and how sometimes as adults we can struggle with that. And really it's a reflection of something going on within ourselves, or a gentleness we need to find around things. And I also have a coloring book, which is really fun because coloring has always been medicinal for me, still is, and just another tool that I created to help people in supporting themselves and support myself while I create all of these things, and to remember the things that are good for me and the things that are serving and medicinal. So I really hope that that kind of gives a better idea of the work that I'm wanting to offer out into the world for people that are not in my location. Locally, I'm going to work on doing some in-person circles with some different intentions for each container that's very, very different. But as I continue to grow my Patreon and fuel these different series, some will be, I have some moon phase ideas, I have seasonal ideas, I have storytelling. I have so many different things that I want to kind of share in this space and allow others to connect these things, to really connect to themselves and empower themselves. And, the more that we empower ourselves with the intention of coming to a place of ease and relaxation, the more the power that is concentrated, it kind of spreads out, which I think is something that's very needed right now. And we can support others and we can support our communities and our homes the more that we do it for ourselves. And that's really my heart. So I hope that this was helpful. I really hope to connect with you guys in that space. And as it grows, I will eventually be getting to some live things and some live containers, and might be able to incorporate that into that container. So, check it out as it grows and kind of see what I'm up to. And if you're more interested in tools, I have a full online store on my website at embodying-magic.com. And I hope to connect with you guys soon. Thank you so much.